what it means to be an American. America is freedom, and freedom is special and rare.
We, the people of this great nation.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
We, the people of this great nation.
Good morning, my fellow Americans. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Tuesday morning. I want to talk about a funny thing you keep hearing from the right, from people that are affiliated to the same party that I'm affiliated is trust the plan. Trust the plan. You keep seeing this everywhere. Everybody's keep talking about this, and this is something that keeps coming up and coming up and coming up. I'm gonna explain to you something, and I'm gonna be as sincere as humanly possible. There is no plan. There's no plan. There's absolutely no plan. Now, moving forward, there's nothing that's gonna happen. There's nothing that's gonna change anything. God, if you're listening to me, and there is a way that Trump can prevail through what is going on right now in this country, and he can be reelected, by all means, I hope Trump does it, and legally, and it's constitutionally done correctly. But at this point, from what I've researched, I have spent, from my previous podcast, I have spent hours and hours engaging and investigating all these claims people are making, and they're all false. There's nothing, no matter how much research you do, it always leads you to something that's fake, or leads you to something that cannot be backed by evidence. And that being said, that is all I wanted to talk about in that sense. I want people to understand that it's not that I'm anti-Republican. I love the Republican Party. I will never leave the Republican Party. I think a lot of the Republicans that represent us right now are rhinos. I don't think they represent us as the Republican Party, but I will never walk away from the Republican Party. The reason why I would never walk away from the Republican Party is because the reason I am a Republican is because everything the Republican Party has done in our history represents everything that I stand for. Whether it's abolishment of slavery, whether it's equal rights for women, whether it's equal rights for African Americans to vote, whether it's the civil rights movement that overwhelmingly was voted by Republicans, whether it's First Amendment rights, freedom of speech, which we all know right now what's happening, and the censoring that's happening in this country, whether it's the right to bear arms. I believe in the Constitution of the United States of America. I believe the Democratic Party uses that as toilet paper. They do not care about the Constitution. Republicans do. Do I believe a lot of these Republicans that represent us are not representing us? Absolutely. So moving forward, what is the path from this moment on, at least for me, and what is it that I'm going to do to better my party as a whole? I will endorse and I will be fighting for those politicians that I feel are going to put America first. I no longer care so much about the personality of the individual. I'm going to care more about the America First agenda and making sure that the mega movement never ends. Because there is nothing better in this country than focusing on the country itself and putting Americans first instead of putting us last, as we've been put for the last several decades. And it is time for us to continue to push this movement. We cannot let this movement die with Donald Trump's rigged election or end of presidency. We got to move forward, and we got to think of 2022, and we got to go out there in overwhelming numbers, and we've got to make sure that our voices are heard, and we've got to make sure that we vote our hearts out and make sure that we get the correct candidates in there. I will continuously be fighting for the Republican Party, and for the Republican Party to perfect itself, and for the Republican Party to evolve and finally hear the voices of the American people, which is something that I feel the Republican Party lost touch with. The Republican Party stands right now in a great position of power. Donald Trump has moved the working class to the Republican Party. He's moved unions to the Republican Party. He's moved Hispanics, African Americans, and people from all races into the Republican Party. People are starting to see, and we don't need to work too hard because Joe Biden is going to fuck up. We're already seeing the results of just him being president-elect and people being prepared for him being president. Caravans are forming with thousands of people demanding to be allowed into the United States. This is what America is going to look like for the next 4 years. And believe me, it's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. Again, I would never want to wish negativity towards a president because obviously whoever represents us, if he does a good job, he does a good job for the entire country. I do not feel like this man is going to do a good job for this country. Iran is launching missiles. They're getting ready to bully him around. China's going to step all over him. And everyone around him is going to make money, including himself. And the American people are going to be left behind. We will lose a lot of jobs. A lot of jobs will go back overseas. And they will try everything possible through social media, through the mainstream media, through every outlet to kill them, the America First agenda. That is their goal. That is their end game. We just always have to remember. We have to remember those 10 candidates that voted to impeach, those 10 Republicans that voted to impeach Donald Trump, that now we know after investigations have occurred that this was pre-planned. And this was several different insiders, instigators that were not even Trump supporters. We now know this, and it was stated by the FBI. They knew in advance, and it was pre-planned. Okay? Yet, they went and jumped the gun to an impeachment, quick as hell, not caring about the fact that they were impeaching Donald Trump for the second time. They are treating us like dirt. And I understand the frustration that Americans have everywhere. I understand the hopefulness and I understand what every American wants because I'm in the same boat as you guys. I voted my heart out for Donald Trump. I fought for Donald Trump and I knew he was a great president 2 years into his presidency. And he will be remembered and we will be remembered as being on the right side of history. Antifa will continue to riot through the streets. BLM will continue to complain and continue to burn down buildings because incidents will continue to occur with white police officers shooting African Americans because that's not going to change. Mathematically and statistically, it's impossible for it to change. It happens more with white Americans than it does with African Americans. But every time there is an incident that occurs that involves a white police officer with a black African American getting shot, it will turn into complete chaos. This will become the new norm. Statues that represent our history, they will try to erase it. We must make sure to keep copies of books. We must make sure to educate our kids at home if they're not getting the proper education at school. We must teach them morals and principles, and we must teach them actual history, not the history that these left-wingers seem to want to create. History that is not real. History that is not part of our country. Our country's history is ugly, but it's beautiful at the same time. And it got us to where we are today. We are living in very chaotic times. We are living in times where everything feels uncertain. We don't know where the world is headed to or where this country is headed to. I would highly suggest to Joe Biden to be careful with North Korea. Because I think they are going to gain massive power under a Biden presidency. I think we will enter a new war. Don't know with what country yet, but I'm sure Biden will secure war because that is what these Democrats and Republicans do. This is what they like to do. This is exactly, they do not want to bring our troops back. They want to keep them abroad, defund them, give them as little as possible, but keep them in war. Okay, so I have a strong message, and I just want people to understand this. We put up with 4 years of people criticizing us, people mocking us because we supported a president, and we were right the whole time. We know by the declassified documents, I've gone through them. It was the most corrupt investigation ever. Nobody paid the consequences for it. No one got indicted, and they got away with it. This is the world that we are living in right now. A world where if you're on the right side, and when I mean right, I don't mean right as in right winger. I mean right like on the right side of society or on the right side of the bureaucrats, you're going to get away with anything you want. Hillary Clinton's the perfect example. So we get no justice, and we get attacked and ridiculed, censored, bullied. I mean, I could just come up with so many different things that they have done to us in the last 4 years that it's just incredible. I mean, one thing that I am certain of is that every single one of these people that voted for Joe Biden will live to regret that vote. And I will live to be there to remind them. I will be a voice of reason. I will be a voice of criticism. The same way they attacked Donald Trump, the same way they criticized Donald Trump, I will continue to fight them. Even if I get blocked, even if I get censored, I will find ways to get out there. I will not continue to fight the good fight. I love this country. This country has given me so much. And I'm not going to let it go to shit. I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to allow it to. I'm not going to allow this to happen. I love this country way too much to allow this to happen. So we are not a silent majority. Remember that. We are not a silent majority. We are a loud majority. We are a group of patriots that if we wanted to be heard, we could be heard. We're not silent. Everybody calls us a silent majority. No, we're a proud majority. We're the ones that wave the flags. We're the ones that have the American flag in front of our houses. We're the ones that celebrate 4th of July because we love this country. That is who we are. We are patriots. We're Americans. We love this country. The left seems to hate it. They think everything about this country sucks. They think everything about this country needs to be canceled and changed. And this is where we are at right now in this world, in this country. This is where we're at. I don't have a solution. I don't know where we're going to be a week from now. Nevertheless, do I know where we're going to be after the inauguration? I don't know what my kids' futures look like. It feels like we're not in America. When you look at the images, just looking at the images of DC and how DC looks, the green zone, as they're calling it right now, it looks like something in the Middle East. It looks like a country in the Middle East that we're at war with. I mean, this is ridiculous. And they know that the Trump supporters they're not a threat. They're not a threat to the Capitol. We're law-abiding citizens. We're working class. We're Americans that love this country. We don't burn things down. We build things. And they know this. The left just wants to utilize us as a tool of hate and use us as a group of ignorant white supremacists. And that is that we're their scapegoat. They reflect. So that being, I mean, I am extremely frustrated. I'm extremely frustrated. It's really tough times right now in this country, and it's going to get tougher. And I want you guys to know you can always send me messages and let me know what you're feeling, and I will try to talk to you guys about it. I want to be there for every American I possibly can, and be your voice, be the person that you can let out your frustrations with, be the person that you can talk to when you feel down and out. I care about you. I care about all Americans, with whatever platform, whatever political stance you take. So that being said, be prepared. Just be prepared for what's coming. If I was going to tell you anything, I would tell you that every plan that Joe Biden has come up with is going to be horrible for our country. It's kind of funny that now studies are coming out coincidentally that's showing lockdowns don't work. I wonder who said that so many different times. So many different times did this person say this, but was ignored. Wonder who said that. President Trump did. President Trump, time and time again, has proven to be on the right side. He's proven to be right on everything. He's proven to be right that they spied on his campaign. That's exactly what they did. Broke every single law. And yet, he's accomplished so much and gets no credit for it. And it is what it is. I mean, we just have to accept it for what it is. I mean, I don't see any other way that we would be able to stop this without using violence. And I think that violence is never the answer to solutions. We got to be smarter than them. We got to think smarter. We have to be thinking years ahead. We've got to already be planning for 2022. Who do we want to replace these people in 2022? What are we going to do to make sure that our party regains its strength? What are we going to do to teach these Republicans that never stood by us a lesson? And we can only teach them a lesson by voting them out and putting someone else in. Teach them that they do not control it, that we the people control the House, the Senate, everything. We're the ones that choose the people that are in there. They don't choose. I know it feels like we don't have any control, but when you're a group and you're all on the same page, change can happen. Change can happen. I have nothing against people going out into the street and protesting. You're in every right to protest. Hell, we all know BLM has been doing it the entire summer. And again, I would urge people to just get involved. Get involved with people that you believe in, politicians that you believe in that might be going in there for the right reasons and not the wrong ones. Because there's a lot of corruption within DC. And I think Trump's finally realized the swamp is just too thick. And he can't beat it. He tried, he fought. And don't for one moment think that the man didn't fight all the way to the end. He fought all the way to the end. He was backstabbed by friends. He was backstabbed by the closest people around him. I think people took advantage of him. Mitch McConnell being one of them. And I just think he tried the most he could. He fought for this country more than any president could. He took more than any president could. And this is where we're at. So I plead with you to avoid anything that could cause violence, any violent acts, or anything that you may be thinking about doing for Trump or for our country. It's not worth it. We can vote these people out. We have to be patient. We had 8 years of Obama's horrible presidency, 0 accomplishments. We just have to stand strong, be vigilant, and remember that the people that we see right now that represent the Republican Party, this is not the real Republicans or what Republicans stand for. Just because you see these Republicans and you're like, wait a second, these guys are Republicans, but I don't believe that. I don't believe in this. I don't believe in that. That's because these are not real Republicans. They don't hold the conservative values that we do. I am a Republican because I have read the history books. I love everything the Republican Party stands for. And we cannot turn our backs on the history of the Republican Party and why it was created and what it's accomplished for the American people. We can never forget these things. Because I've been hearing a lot about people, let's create a different party, the Patriot Party. No, let's replace these people that we have in power and let's make the party right. Let's reform our party. Let's get the principles that our party stands for and let's get the right candidates in there that are going to support the American people and be the voice of the American people. That is what we have to do. That is the pathway forward. There is no other pathway. That is the pathway forward. And we have to start at a local level and we have to move up and we have to do it the same way the Democrats do it, except we don't have the rigging and we don't have the machines and we don't have the cheats, so we have to come out in overwhelming numbers, because I honestly don't believe they're going to change any elections, and I think they're actually going to make it much easier for them to commit fraud. So we have to be on high alert, and we just got to have faith in our country, in our God, and just know that good always prevails over evil, and we will get through this together as one nation under God. Guys, God bless you, God bless your families, and God bless this beautiful country we live in. Thank you.
We will make America great again.
Hi, it's Judge Janine. I want to thank you for listening to the Republican Nation podcast. It's an important podcast to listen to because the Republican Nation is all about the Constitution, the First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, and all of those rights that are important to all of us. We've got to make sure that America doesn't lose any of those rights and that we stay true to our founding fathers' intent. So thanks again for listening to the Republican Nation.